Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Now today I'm going to make some mini buns, and these are going to be chocolate and hazelnut spread buns with a few little chopped hazelnuts thrown in. So I'm going to make a dough, roll it out flat, sprinkle the hazelnuts over and spread the hazelnut and chocolate spread over, then roll it up and bake them in a mini muffin tin. So 2 bites should do for these. And for the ingredients I have, for the dough, I have 168 grams of softened butter, and in my bowl here, so 168 grams works out at 12 tablespoons, and in my bowl I have 11 of those tablespoons, about 150 grams, 154 grams, and I have 1 tablespoon, 14 grams set to one side for spreading later. Then I have 2.5 cups of flour, and that works out at 315 grams. That's plain flour or all-purpose flour. I have 50 grams, which is 1/4 cup of caster sugar, or granulated sugar would be okay. I have 2 medium egg yolks, that would be large in the USA. I have 80 millilitres or 1/3 cup of milk. I have 7 grams, 2¼ ounces of active dry yeast. That's 1 packet of active dried yeast. I have 60 millilitres, 1/4 cup of water, which I've heated to about 43 Celsius, 110 Fahrenheit, so lukewarm. And that's all the ingredients that we need for the dough. For the filling, I have some chocolate hazelnut spread, and how much you use is up to you, but I'll probably use about 60 millilitres, 1/4 cup, and I have some chopped roasted hazelnuts here, and I'd probably use no more than about 10 grams of that. That's just to give a little bit of texture. The first thing to do is to tip our yeast into our warm water, and I'm actually going to put about a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon will be enough, of sugar in with that, and I'm going to mix it around, and I'm going to leave that to stand for about 10 minutes until it starts to go fluffy, until it starts to go frothy. Our yeast mixture is frothing up nicely, so what I'm going to do is put my sugar into the bowl with the butter, and I'm going to whisk that and get it all nice and combined. And then I'm going to add the salt in and the milk. Now I forgot to say I've put a teaspoon of white vinegar into this milk, which will curdle it slightly. And to give a bit of extra flavour, but you won't actually taste it as vinegar in the mixture. And I'm also going to add in, I'll mix that round first. And then I will add in the egg yolks, one at a time, and mix those in. And then I'll add the yeast mixture, and this all looks curdled, but don't worry, it will all come together when the flour goes in. So I'll scrape down the yeast mixture to get it all in, and mix that round as well, and then we'll start to add the flour. We'll add the flour. What I'm going to do is just add a couple of tablespoons of flour, maybe 3 to start with. I mix that with my whisk, and then I'm going to change to my dough hook and mix the rest. That's good, that's brought that together quite nicely. So I'm going to put my dough hook on and add the rest of the flour. And I'm going to knead this on a medium speed, starting slow but building up to medium, and I'm going to knead it, scraping down the bowl if necessary, until the dough comes away from the sides and leaves the bowl quite clean. It should take about 5 minutes. So the dough has been kneaded quite nicely and it's come away from the sides. Now I added 2 tablespoons more flour. If it doesn't seem to be coming away from the sides as it needs, then you can add a little bit more flour, because flour tends to absorb liquids at different degrees or different levels, depending on the humidity, and so sometimes you need to add a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that out onto my work surface with a little bit of flour. And I'm simply going to turn that over and form it into a ball. Now this is a very rich dough, so the proving time may be longer than for normal bread dough. But I'm going to put this into a greased bowl, and I'm going to cover it and prove it until it doubles in size. Now it's quite warm in here today, so it may not take too long, but it could take up to 4 hours because it's so rich. But I think this will probably take no more than 2 hours. So I'm going to put that in top side down and then turn it over. And I'm simply going to cover that and leave it to prove until it has doubled in size, and then I'll come back and we'll go on to make our mini rolls. The dough has proved for just under 2 hours, and because it's very warm in here, it has doubled in size already. So what I'm going to do is tip that out onto a very lightly floured surface, and I'm just going to shape that into a log, knocking the air out. And the reason for that is I want to cut this into about 4 equal pieces, because I only have one 12-hole mini muffin tin, so I'm going to do this in 4 stages. I'm actually going to check the weight when I've cut them. So I'm going to cut this in half. And because I'm only going to work with 1/4 of the dough, I'm going to wrap the rest up in plastic wrap, and I'm going to chill it in the fridge because I don't want it to rise anymore while I'm working with the 1/4. So we'll roll this out about 12 inches by 4 inches. And that's okay like that, I think. I'm just going to cut that end off, I don't need that. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take some chocolate and hazelnut spread, I've used about a tablespoon here, but you can use as much or as little as you want. And I'm going to spread that over, leaving a gap at the edge for sealing. And then I'm going to just sprinkle some hazelnuts over, chopped hazelnuts. like that. I'm going to take, just clean my fingers. I'm going to take the edge and roll it up, not too tightly. And then I'm going to take the seam and pinch it together to seal it all the way along. And then I'm going to cut this into 12 pieces of roughly equal size. Okay. And I'm going to put each piece into the mini muffin tin, which is greased. And I'm going to cover those and I'm going to let them rest and rise a little while I preheat my oven to 180 Celsius, that's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to put them into the oven. I'm going to bake them for between 15 and 20 minutes until they turn a nice golden brown colour. Then I'll take them out, let them cool down, I'll bake the others and I'll come back and show you the result. Sorry, the chocolate and hazelnut spread rolls are out, mini rolls are out of the oven, and I've let them cool down, and this is what they look like. So we'll have a taste of one. I'll have a small one. Tastes very, very good indeed. The chocolate and hazelnut spread, and also the little bit of crunchy hazelnut in that sweet bread dough is very nice. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on. That will take you to this recipe, and I'll put a link to it below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.